My name is...
What?
My name is...
Who?
My name is...
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh, excuse me. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Super hoarse. There we go. Welcome to our latest GOP debate. This debate will be, it is a head-off between DeSantis and Haley. The other camera, forgot to cut the volume down on that one, sorry. Which should be interesting. Do keep in mind they are not the only ones still left in the race, but I do want to bring y'all a little bit of news while everybody's still freaking out about Colorado and Trump not being on there. And oh my goodness. Guess what? Trump won't be on the Nevada 2024 GOP primary ballot. But guess who else won't be on there? DeSantis, Ramaswamy, or, well, Chris Christie. He came to the end of his road. So this is why. Coming from CBS.com, before we get into the debate, former President Donald Trump will not be appearing on the primary ballot in Nevada on February 6th, but neither will Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, and of course, Chris Christie. Their absence has not escaped the notice of voters in the Silver State, some of whom have begun to receive their sample ballots for the presidential election. They missed their deadlines. See, people forget that deadlines have to be met. You have thresholds to, make it to the debate stage. And we've gone over that before. So for everybody that wanted to criticize me when I was, giving the backgrounds of presidential candidates, and you're like, oh, you didn't mention this part, because they don't have the numbers. They're not on the ballots. But here we go.
Here in Iowa are about to face. Governor DeSantis, why should voters who are looking for an alternative to the current frontrunner, former President Trump, vote for you rather than former Governor Haley?
Well, to people of Iowa, good evening. It's great to be in Iowa to have a debate here. Donald Trump's running to pursue his issues. Nikki Haley's running to pursue her donors' issues. I'm running to pursue your issues and your family's issues and to turn this country around. I'm the only one running that's delivered on 100% of the promises that I've made. We've delivered huge victories.
You've delivered something. You've delivered shit. I wouldn't call it a victory.
For a generation. I'm also the only one running that has beaten the left time and time again.
When you beat the left?
Union on universal school choice. We beat Soros on crime. We beat Fauci on COVID. We beat the Dems on election integrity. And I beat.
Are these wins in the room with us right now?
In the state of Florida. Now,
are they in the country?
Nikki Haley is running. We don't need another mealy-mouthed politician who just tells you.
Aren't you a mealy-mouthed politician that tells us what you think we want to hear?
In office and to do her donors' bidding. She was in.
Isn't that what you do?
She said the people of Iowa's votes need to be corrected. This is somebody that wrote in her book that Hillary Clinton inspired her to first run for office.
Why you sound like you about to cry?
Hillary denigrating people on the Republican side as deplorables. We don't need a candidate who's going to look down.
And can somebody pick a decade of fashion for Nikki?
To be able to lead this country's revival.
Because on the campaign trail, she's very 1980s. Right now, she's trying to channel Jackie up.
Well, I think this is a time that we know that we need a new generational leader. We have watched our country be in disarray. We see the world on fire.
Girl, you don't finish a job.
Experience. I've been a two-term governor that took a double-digit unemployment.
You don't finish a job. You're the epitome of no call, no show.
I dealt with Russia, China, Iran every day.
You dealt with giving a 2 weeks notice.
There's going to be a lot of Ron's lies that have happened. There are at least a couple of dozen. So
you lied too.
He's done. So what we're going to do is, rather than have him go and tell you all these lies, you can go to DeSantisLies.com and look at all at least 24 lies that he's told about me. And you can see where fact checkers say exactly what's going to happen. and exactly why it's wrong. So it will cover the fact that he's only mad about the donors because the donors used to be with him, but they're no longer with him now.
For
And
a
that's
little
because he's
minute, I
upset
think
about
Nikki
the fact
remembered
his
that she was brown.
campaign is exploding. You're going to see the fact that he has switched his policies multiple times, and we'll call that out tonight. But every time
Nimarata?
Drake University,
Is that
don't
you?
turn this into a
Nimarata,
because
did you show up tonight, girl?
Well, I think this is interesting because you can actually go to RonDeSantis.com because Nikki Haley has this tactic. If you hold her accountable to her record, first she'll say, I never said that. Well, one good rule of thumb, if she says she's never said something, that definitely means she said it. And
that
then
goes
she'll
for both
say,
of y'all.
You're lying. That means not only did she say it, but she's on videotape saying it. And so we have all the greatest hits.
That's
The
both of
reality
y'all.
Is Nikki Haley is not somebody that has been willing to stand in and fight on behalf of conservatives. You know, she ran for governor saying she was.
You're running for the presidency. Shouldn't you be willing to fight for all people, not just the fake conservatives?
In Florida, I delivered the largest expansion of school choice in the history
You
of the United
delivered
States.
a bunch of dumb
I beat the
fuckers.
teachers
I was
union.
in a
And
live
you know
with
what
one
the
of them
result was?
students
When she was
the other
governor of
week.
South Carolina,
You
she
delivered
was
some
rated
dumb fucks.
50th in
Lord
education
Jesus, you
dead
delivered
last.
some dumb.
You know what Florida is under my watch?
I think the
Number
alligators
one
are
in the
smarter
nation.
than your kids at this point down there. My prayers, thoughts, and prayers to y'all stuck in the Narnia of Florida.
If we're going to say this, when Ron was representing Florida, he said that he promised not to raise the debt limit when he got to DC. Yet he raised the debt limit by hundreds of billions of dollars.
And Ron still didn't make no friends.
Support Ukraine. He supported Ukraine when President Obama was in office. Now he's trying to copy Trump and saying that he no longer supports Ukraine and doesn't want to give them.
Aren't you copying Trump too?
He also goes and says that he wants to talk about me insulting Iowans. Iowans know when you're telling a joke. The fact that he's only running in one state is not the way you want to.
It's because he's very, very awkward. And I know I'm weird and awkward, but he far exceeds me. And that takes a lot. That is a special skill to out weird and awkward me.
Legislation to get rid of it. And also, then he also said he would never do anything with Social Security. Yet he voted 3 times to raise the retirement age of Social Security. So if you're going to talk about what you said,
and Ron doesn't think this through because isn't he the state of Social Security?
Thank you, Governor. We're going to get to a lot of these issues in the debate. Governor Haley, when Governor Christie dropped out of the race just a few hours ago, he said,
shouldn't you be calling her ambassador if you're going by the last job she quit?
Governor Christie also said he ran because he knew he would be the only Republican candidate to speak the truth about former President Donald Trump. Do you believe Donald Trump has the character to be president again?
Well, I think the next president needs to have moral clarity.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
To understand that
I was rooting for you, Nimarata.
Money. I think you need to have moral clarity to understand that when you're dealing with dictators in the world.
What is going on with the bottom half of that outfit?
And human rights and
the top is giving Timu Jackie O. The bottom.
Donald Trump, I have said.
Was you watching some reruns of 227?
I agree with
Little Sister.
His way is not mine.
Because that's 2 different decades that shouldn't be French kissing in that outfit.
Take things personally. For me, it's very much
you take everything personally.
No whining and getting results and getting them done. So I don't think that President Trump is the right president to go forward. I think
Nikki, your lips get smaller and smaller with every debate because you lie more and more, and your ancestors just keep snatching the collagen right out your lips. Right out your lips. Just pluck.
Well, I'm running because I'm the guy that's going to be able to engineer a comeback for this country. I appreciate it.
What comeback? Where did we go?
He said he was going to build a wall and have Mexico pay for it. He did not deliver that.
We got more than one border.
He did not deliver that. He said he was going to hold Hillary accountable, and he let her off the hook. He said he was going to eliminate the debt, and he added $7.8 trillion to the debt. So we need to deliver and get this stuff done. And I think the difference between Nikki Haley and me, I listened to all that litany of stuff. I debated the governor of California, Gavin Newsom.
And you lost. That was some bullshit.
Lied a lot. Man, Nikki Haley made
you lied a lot. We watched it. You know we can see you. Well, not so much tonight because I think you put a little oomph in your heels. But we can see you. Oh, my allergies are kicking my tail tonight, y'all.
Anytime the going gets tough, anytime people come down, she caves. When you need someone standing and fight for you, don't look for Nikki Haley. You won't be able to find her if you have a search warrant.
Pseudo Top Gun, what you gonna do? Make another commercial with you channeling Tom Cruise?
Korea every day. No one ever said I caved. I defended America and I fought for America.
No, you didn't.
But I'll also say this: this is not a time.
You wrote us a 4-page letter of I ain't coming back to work, y'all.
On the stage, he's the one that I'm running against. He's the one that I wish would be here. He needs to be defending his record. Right now, he's not defending the fact that he allowed us to have $8 trillion in debt over 4 years that our kids are never going to forgive us for. The fact that he didn't deal with China when it came to stealing intellectual property, the fact that they gave us COVID, the fact that they've gone and continued to put up Chinese police stations and continue to threaten our military. He didn't do enough to make sure that we were really standing with our friends.
Who just DoorDash Nikki some balls?
Is a leader that's not looking at 4 years and 8 years. We need a president that's looking at 20 and 30 years, because I want my kids to have a.
Let me clench her pearls for a minute.
Without debt. One where they can read, one with secure borders, one where we have law and order, and one
She
where
said
America is
one where
strong.
they can read. Well, that ain't Florida, baby.
You know, for her to single out Donald Trump on China, and look, I think he could have been tougher on him 100%. When Nikki Haley was governor of South Carolina, she was the #1 governor in America.
Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but wasn't the question about Trump?
She wrote a love letter to the ambassador saying that they were a great friend.
You still scared of Trump?
China's a friend.
Just kick it with your heel, DeSantis. Just kick it. Just
5 miles from a military
watch
base.
the movie
There's a
Single
video
White
of her
Female.
on the
That'll help
website,
you learn how to
Chinese
weaponize
spies,
your
saying
kitten
she works
heels,
for
boo-boo.
them now. So that was her #1 achievement as governor, was bringing China into the state of South Carolina. So you say you're going to.
And your #1 achievement was getting your family hit with a tree.
Doing that then when people were raising the
Too
red
soon?
flags about it in Florida.
Too
I
soon?
banned China from buying land in our state,
Governor
and we
DeSantis.
kicked them out of our university. That's what you need to be doing.
We're going to talk about China in a little bit. I want to talk about the economy, which according to a recent Des Moines Register poll shows that the economy is the top issue.
Ooh,
for
what you
caucus
using on
goers
your hair, girl?
here.
Get
So
some to
Governor
Nikki.
Haley, the rate of inflation
We like
is
that
down.
shine and
Prices,
bounce over
though,
there.
are
Get
still
some
high,
to
and
Nikki.
Americans are struggling to afford food, cars, and housing. What is the single most important policy that you would implement as president to make the essentials in Americans' lives more important?
I think we have to acknowledge that Republicans and Democrats have both done this. I mean, the fact that they've done all of this wasteful spending, they did a $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill that expanded welfare, that's now left us with 80 million Americans on Medicaid.
I know
42
I'm
million
hard of
Americans
hearing.
on food stamps.
I
That's
get
a
that.
third of
I
our
accept
country.
that.
What I will do is I think it's time we have an accountant in the White House. We have to have someone that respects taxpayer dollars. And we'll start by clawing back $100 billion of unspent COVID dollars that are still out there. We'll go in, instead of 87,000 IRS
The
agents going after
COVID
middle
dollars are
America,
what
we'll
people
go after
need
the
to.
hundreds of billions of dollars of COVID fraud, one out of every
But
$7. If 8%
why
of
not
our
roll
budget is
back
interest,
military
quit
expenses?
borrowing. Cut up the credit cards. I had to balance.
Maybe,
the budget as
I don't
well.
know, forgive
You have to
student
balance the
loan
budget every
debt,
day.
which would
Why
free up
is
some money
Congress
for
the
people
only
to
group that
eat.
refuses to balance a budget? We'll
Maybe
stop
tax
the
the
spending, we'll
wealthy
stop the
and,
borrowing,
you know,
we'll
we could
eliminate
replenish
the
some
pet
stuff.
projects and the earmarks, and I'll veto any spending bill that doesn't take us back to pre-COVID levels. And then we want to make sure that we allow.
Why y'all
middle
keep
class
acting like
to breathe.
pre-COVID
We're
was a
gonna eliminate the
paradise?
federal gas and diesel
Did I
tax in
miss
this country
something?
and cut taxes
I
on
know
the
I'd be in the
middle class
hospital a
and
lot. Did I
simplify those
sleep through
brackets. And
pre-COVID?
then we want to make the small business tax
How
cuts
many in
and
here?
corporate tax cuts permanent, but they make
No, I've been
small
here for a
business
few
tax cuts
decades. Bitch,
temporary.
what?
Small
Unless you're gonna
businesses
roll
are
it back to the
heartbeat of
90s
America.
when
We
companies
need to
gave
prove
real
it by making
benefits,
those tax
you
cuts.
know, stock buy-ins, profit sharing, real insurance,
Affordable for Americans.
Well, I disagree
bonuses.
with Dr. Haley. We don't need an accountant in the White House. We need a leader in the White House. And that's what I would bring. I've spoken with Iowans, visiting all 99 counties.
Well, you've been there
and
for
also
like
folks all
67
across this
months.
country. The American
You-
dream is
you've been
slipping
there a
away.
long
People are
time.
working
You
hard to
should
get
be
the most
talking
out
to
of their
them.
God-given ability. They're doing everything right, and they're falling further and further behind. Trying to afford a new home today, your monthly mortgage payment would probably be twice
Well,
as
people in
much as
Florida
what it
don't
would
have
been
insurance
if you were
right now.
Starting out 5 years ago, we have to make the economy.
And you
work
was
for
fucking
those
with some people's
folks.
jobs when you was
Yes,
fucking
we're
with
calling it a
Disney.
battle
I
of
don't.
spending. In Florida, you look, and we have the national debt clock going up to 34 trillion. I see it. If you did a debt clock for the state of Florida, it would be counting down because we've paid down 25% of our state debt just since I've been governor. We're going to open up all energy for production because that will be deflationary. You know, Nikki Haley, when she was governor, she promised she would never do the gas tax. Then she tried to raise the gas tax on hardworking South Carolinians. Here's the thing.
You
We need
working?
to fly a flag of
You
bold
working?
colors.
Hello, testing.
Putting
Hello,
American
hello.
people first, not the pale
You-
pastels
Yeah,
of
you
the
working.
warmed-over
He is
corporatism of
he
people
is
like
definitely
Nikki Haley.
saying the words. He's saying words. They appear to be
Because
English.
Governor
I don't.
DeSantis mentioned the gas tax. You do want to eliminate the federal gas tax, and that tax generated approximately $40 billion in 2022 and helps pay for road construction and repair. So how would you fix America's roads and bridges if you take that money away?
Well, first of all, bless his heart, DeSantisLies.com. We have never raised a tax.
tried
I've
to.
never raised a tax
You
at
tried.
all. I can tell
You're
you
on
right.
video.
Governor DeSantis, she has the floor.
Your video.
So I
What
can
is?
tell you that we killed the gas tax multiple times. But what we said is if you want to raise the gas tax, you have to reduce the income tax. By
Nikki,
5
give him some
times that
Badussi real
amount.
quick so he can
They
calm
didn't
down.
wanna
That's
do
his
it. We
problem.
killed taxes every step of the way.
Nikki,
But
he
if you wanna
wants you,
talk about
girl.
his economy,
Nikki, you
I
in
think what we
danger.
should say is, why does
You
Florida
in
have the
danger,
highest
girl.
property
He
insurance
wants you.
in the country? Why is it that it is named the American
I was waiting for her to be like,
inflation?
"You so
Why is it
special."
that this state is now known to have the highest cost of living
Somebody
increases?
bring
And why is it that there's
somebody bring
senior
Nimarata some
citizens
sweet
no
tea.
longer afford to live in Florida? So that's the first thing I'll say. We don't need him doing that to our country. When it comes to the gas tax, when we eliminate that federal tax, the money is collected in the states and it send it to the feds. The feds attach a
Politics
lot of
is a
strings to it and
serious
send it
thing.
back. 75% comes from the states,
Other
25%
places.
comes from the federal government. What they do when they add those strings is they
We
pay
got
for
a
lot of
criminal,
things that
a
aren't
quitter,
roads,
a
green
grifter,
spaces, sidewalks, all of those things.
another
They
grifter,
attach
and
strings. I
and
want
somebody
that
that
money to
people
stay
can't
in
even
the
remember
states.
still
I want the
running
states
in
to be
this
able to
race.
decide how
Lord
to spend it. I
Jesus,
don't want Washington
we done
bureaucrats deciding
dug
what we
up the
need
cast of
for scenery
Cocoon
and green space and all those other things.
and
I want
mixed them
every
with the
state
spinoff
agency in
cast
the
from the
world to
Golden
make the
Palace
decisions
and put them on the
how they
damn
spend
ballot.
those things instead of the federal government.
Governor DeSantis,
And still, somebody will come into the comment section and tell me to be serious.
She's on video saying this. I know she'll say it. She never said it, but she
You
is.
snippet
She
that.
did.
You
She
took
did
a little
do it.
piece
She
of
did
that. That is not true.
She also
You
raised
lied
taxes.
again.
She
Governor
raised
Haley,
taxes
Governor
when she was
DeSantis.
You know what I was about to? I thought she was about to call him a lying
She
asshole.
even proposed a tax on
Oh,
groceries.
she got some hot sauce in her bag,
Have you seen their
swag.
grocery bill lately? That's one of the things that's hitting working people the most. That groceries are going up.
You
probably
don't know
twice
how
as
much
as
groceries
they do. I
cost.
also think it's important that we lift people up. So
You
in
obviously
Florida,
don't know how
we
much a shoe shine
eliminated
costs
all
because you are
sales
not
tax on
taking good care of them
every baby
heels.
item. Diapers, wipes, strollers, cribs. We want families to be able to prosper in this country. One of the things that's causing so much problem.
Ain't nobody
is the
buying no
breakdown
diapers and strollers
in
because
the
ain't nobody
American
popping out no
family.
goddamn
We've done a lot in
babies.
Florida to be able to rejuvenate that, but we need to make it easier for
I'm waiting for
people
him to be
raise
like,
children in this
Darla.
country, so that we can have strong families and a strong country.
Governor DeSantis, at a CNN panel last week, you said you support a flat tax, which is a single income tax rate for every American. Under your plan, would working
Oh, I'm
families
losing
pay
my
the
nose
same
clip.
tax rate
Hold
as
on.
billionaires?
I would only do it if people are better off than they are now. I mean, I want people paying less taxes. Actually, if you think the last year we have numbers for, the federal government took in the highest percentage of taxes took from the economy since World War II.
Tax your
And
sugar
yet,
daddies, bitch.
there's
Then
not
I'll
even a
believe you.
debt.
When
We
you
have a
start taxing
spending
your sugar
problem in
daddies,
this
I'll
country.
believe you.
It's not a tax problem in this
Actually,
country.
you know
And
what,
if you have something
DeSantis,
that
I
is
will vote for
simple
you
and
if you throw me
transparent,
one of your sugar
not
daddies.
only would that be better for economic growth, it's
But
also
just
better to end
give me
the
one of your sugar daddies
weaponization of
because
government.
obviously they ain't
The
getting no
IRS has
sugar from
been
you. And I
weaponized against
teach me how you
conservatives
getting
going
all
back
this
to the
sugar without
Obama
how
administration.
you
I
know
was there for that.
how you getting the
No
daddy,
one's
how you
held
getting the sugar
accountable
without the
for
daddy.
doing that. You look at the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Justice. The weaponization of federal power ends the day I become the president of the United States. There's going to be a new sheriff in town. We're going to
DeSantis,
restore
aren't you the same person to put
constitutional
together your
accountability
own
that our founding fathers envisioned
police force
when they
within
formatted the
Florida
Constitution.
that
And I've talked to folks
only
who,
answers to you?
have overbearing federal agencies. I mean,
That's
you have
it.
farmers who have
That's very
the
brown
EPA
shirt of
coming on
you.
their farmland because there's maybe a puddle there. Waters of the United States. Give me a break.
You know
So
what?
we're
I
gonna
used to
reduce the
have a
size of
fancy
government,
pair of
but
white
we're also
boots.
gonna reduce the
An
scope of
aunt of mine
government.
gave it
And
to
in
me. They were
Florida,
Nine
I've actually
West.
delivered
And
on
I
Florida
never
has
really wore them
the
out the house.
lowest percentage
I would
of
just go over to
state
her house and put them on and start
workers per
singing,
capita
"These
in the
boots are
country.
made for
The lowest
walking."
of our state government
Something
employees is the lowest in the country. No wonder why we're paying down debt while we're cutting taxes for people. That's the way to do it.
Governor DeSantis, 15-second point of clarification. The question was whether or not working families would would pay the same amount.
They would pay less
billionaires.
than what they're paying now. The way I view it is, okay. and
So
you-
if
you
we
exempt
pay
people,
less,
so you would pay no tax for
who's going to
working
make up
class
for the
people. It would only
rest?
be as you get above, because I think the first 40, 50 grand.
That's
tax
not going to
gets
be enough to do
subsist,
anything
and
in
even
this
some places you
country.
can't even do
That's
that.
not going to
So
be,
you
that
would have
sounds
no
good, but
tax
it's
up to a
not going to
certain
do
point,
anything.
and then
It's
it would just
going
be
to
a
raise the
single rate.
cost
So if
and the
somebody makes
taxes on everything else.
$100,000, they
How
pay
about we
$30,000.
eliminate
If someone makes
sales tax
$200,000, they pay
and
$80,000.
proportionately tax everybody on the federal level? And we have the IRS do what the IRS should do, calculate the numbers and send people a bill or send them their refund automatically. Yeah, about then, you know, then we could get some stuff done. We could get some stuff done. You know what? Task for president. Oh shit, I can't. I don't meet all the requirements. Puppers does. Puppers 2024.
He wants to get the EPA out of the way. Well, why did he run on the
It does
ballot
look
to
like the
ban
adult
fracking
version
and
of the
ban offshore drilling?
magazine.
Why did he go and author that legislation to eliminate the renewable fuel standard?
Where's my muffin?
That matters so much? And why now is he suddenly coming to Iowa and saying, oh, never mind, I don't mean all of that? Why did he call Trump and say that he wanted him to stop drilling 9 miles into federal waters? Why is he now saying this? Why do you come to the people of Iowa and say one thing when you campaigned and on day 2 of your office, you banned fracking, you banned offshore drilling, you turn around and
Well,
authored
I hate to admit it, but with the fracking and the offshore, he was right on that one. You know, he is a shattered clock. He's right twice a decade.
And definitely here in
He's
the
like
Midwest,
knocking over a
with
sand dial.
biofuels, I'm the only one that checked all the boxes.
What
for
boxes did you
Iowa
check
renewable
out?
fuel
Creepy,
standard, because I've
liar,
actually visited all 99
possible
states. I've
pedophile.
actually shown up to people's
I remember
farms.
you
I've
as a
sat
history
and I've
teacher,
listened to
boy.
people about what they're going through.
That
how their
drinking in them
economy is
parties with
structured,
them
and how it's
kids wasn't
important that we're
right.
producing energy here in the United States. I never want to go hat in hand like Biden has done to Venezuela or
We wasn't
Saudi
calling you down
and
here for real.
begging
You can go back
energy.
upstairs and go back
We're
to
going to
sleep.
be able to open up production. We're going to choose
Thank you.
Midland over Moscow.
Night-night.
We're going to choose the Marcellus Shale over the mullahs. And we're going to
We done
choose the
summoned the
Bakken over
boomer.
Beijing. Energy independence isn't even, it's good for consumers.
What you
It's
having
good
a
to
coffee
reduce
for? We
inflation.
wasn't calling
It's
for
one of
you
the
for
best
real.
things we can do for our national security. So we'll do that on day
Lord
one. and we are
Jesus,
gonna
what you
reverse
want, boy?
Biden's Green New Deal and the electric vehicle mandates will save the American
Well, I wasn't
automobile.
expecting you to come down here.
This has been one of the biggest years for illegal border crossings into the United States. Last month alone,
No,
225,000
it's a big year for illegal border crossings across the southern border. I need y'all to stop forgetting that we have other borders and that we have undocumented immigrants or previously documented immigrants or short-term documented immigrants that are still here that just flew over or came over on cruise ships or yachts. Because how do y'all think the wealthy get their domestics over here?
Build a wall.
And nobody ever knows that they have these domestics.
In the way that I thought that Donald Trump was.
You didn't
We're
think of
gonna
that, did you?
charge fees on remittances that workers send to foreign countries, billions of dollars. Will build the wall. He also promised record deportation.
Y'all been trying to build this wall since Reagan originally said he was going to build the wall. Are y'all now connecting the dots that I keep putting out there for y'all between Reagan, Make America Great, Donald Trump, and now DeSantis? Ronald Reagan was the first one that was build the wall, build the wall. That's why we had the remnants of the fucking wall there in the first place.
Stay home. They were not able to go to school, told you can't go get an in-person education. Why? Because the city's commandeering the school to house illegal aliens in it. Talk about
First of all, nobody is illegal on stolen land. They're undocumented immigrants, not aliens. Okay, we got actual aliens from outer space that be fucking with us anyway. But your kids wasn't in in-person school. That did not go over my head.
Illegal immigration. That's like having the fox guard the hen house. She's on tape at the Aspen.
You mean how your granny came in here on illegal immigration and skated through with her illiterate ass when there was legislation saying that if you could not read, you could not come in here to succeed? That's why you don't know how to pronounce your own name, because you're trying to hide your own heritage, but the both of y'all doing that bullshit right up here on this stage.
She's bankrolled by people who want open borders, and she said there shouldn't be a limit on immigration. You should work with corporate CEOs.
Thanks, Governor.
Well, without immigration, neither one of you motherfuckers would be up there. You know what? Y'all was about to turn me into a
Governor
conservative for
DeSantis
30
and also
seconds
Donald
because
Trump,
you know what?
are attacking you for that comment in 2015.
But then
in
I
which
had
you
to
said
realize
that
where I
undocumented
come
immigrants
from.
should not be criminals at the time. The full context is you said, quote, "We don't need to talk about them as criminals. They're not. They're families that want a better life and they're desperate to get here," unquote. Do you still feel that way?
I saw them when I was at the United Nations. I saw them. That doesn't mean we should let them in.
You see them at every Sunday dinner,
I will tell you
bitch.
that when I was governor of South Carolina, we passed the toughest illegal immigration law in the country. Obama sued us over it, and
you see them
on
when you go visit your mama
immigration.
and your
We fought
daddy.
Obama on migrant kids. We fought Obama on Syrian refugees. We fought Obama on Guantanamo Bay prisoners. I have always said.
Guantanamo Bay. Ask your homeboy about Guantanamo Bay. Ask him. Ask him. Ask him. Go ahead, ask him.
Illegal immigration law in the country.
You ain't fight DeSantis. He was there. He ground zero Guantanamo.
Businesses have to prove that the people they hire are in this country legally.
Girl,
I passed it within 6
I don't even think she realized how to work the coffee maker at the UN. She was so up and through so quick.
What we need to do is not just ban a wall. We need to put 25,000 Border Patrol and ICE agents on the ground and let them do.
Why do we need Border Patrol and ICE?
Sanctuary cities once and for all. No more safe havens for illegal immigrants. We need to make sure we go back to the Remain in Mexico policy so that no one even steps foot on U.S. soil. And instead of catch and
do you
release,
know they
we need
also
to
had
go
a
catch
Remain
and
in
reward.
Asia
That's
policy?
the only way we'll stop the incentives.
You're of
of these
Asian
illegal
descent.
immigrants coming
You
across.
hail
Biden
from the
turned around and gave
continent of
500,000
Asia.
Venezuelans
Do you not
temporary protected
realize
status.
the
That's
historic
500,000 driver's
immigration
licenses, 500,000
policies
Social
and
Security
legislation
numbers.
they
All that
had
does is
against
incentivize
your
them to
home
pick up
continent
all
where
their
your
family
mama
members
and papa came from?
She did bring, when she was governor, she did bring Syrian refugees, and she got criticized for that.
That is not
she
true.
also, in her
DeSantis
comment,
lies.
Hold on one second, Governor.
That is not true.
Isn't it funny to see two recent descendants of immigrants fighting about keeping immigrants out? Lord,
these are
these
military-age
are
males, many of them, and they're coming from all across this world, not just from Central America. In fact, you've got them from China, Iran, Russia, the Middle East. When I was down there a couple years ago, because I've sent people down there, you had people from Libya and Haiti. This is a ticking
but
time
you
bomb for
didn't
this
give a
country.
shit
There,
about
of
the
course, gonna be
Ukrainians.
terrorist cells that
You
have come in.
don't
It's like
give
the
a
lowest
fuck
cost
about
way
the
to be able to harm this
50,000
country,
plus
just send people
Irish
across the southern border.
immigrants, right?
Nikki Haley also opposed the border wall in 2016.
You didn't
She
give a
said
fuck
that
about the
she ridiculed
Slovenian
it when
bitch
Donald Trump
that
was
whose
quoted. I'm telling you, we
husband
need a
pulled
wall.
some
You
strings to
can't
get her in the
trust
country on an
politicians to do this.
Einstein
If the
grant.
wall's there, it's a physical fact of
Oh,
life.
R.I.P.
If
Melania
it's
Trump's
Governor
mama.
DeSantis,
I told y'all, don't be putting stuff on people's name. She put that bullshit on her mama name, and her mama
Just build a wall.
in the
You have to
upper
do more than
room.
build a
And
wall.
before y'all
It
got
was
Taz,
build a
it's
wall
too
and
soon. It was too
everything
soon
else.
for that
You can't
face
trust
that she
what
got
Biden's
that was
saying.
brand
But
new.
this is a bigger
That ain't
issue.
my
This is
problem.
more than him just
She put that
constantly
bullshit
being,
on her mama.
desperate and throwing things on me. This is the fact that we have to realize my parents came here illegally. They came the right way 50 years ago. They put in the time, they put in the price. They are offended by what's happening on the border. And my
Hold up, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. They came here when? Oh, wait a minute. They came here when?
Like it is. This is putting harm on our schools, on our hospitals. Taxpayers are paying for it. You see, these mayors are now upset about it. The only reason Eric Adams is now upset.
Bitch, you are 51 years old.
City, then. That's why we have to defund sanctuary cities. Now
you are 51 years old and you were born in Brandenburg, South Carolina.
It's dangerous and it doesn't even count the fentanyl.
So either you just disqualified yourself from the presidency or you just fucking lied. You're 51 years old.
Will any of them be
your father took a teaching job here.
The number of people that
so were they legal beginning at 50 years ago? Or did they come here the right way?
More people to want to come illegally. So you got to enforce the law. It's got to be consistent. People got to know it's there. You also have to remove benefits for people who are here illegally.
Nikki.
Yeah. You can go illegally.
Pretty Nikki.
And you get free health insurance coverage. You're here illegally and they're doing that.
When? Where's this free health care? Where is it? Where's this free health care and all these stuff? Where is it?
Some states do. And it creates
did your grandma get it?
So federally, no benefit.
Ask Nikki, did her parents get it?
and then the states, we're going to crack down on sanctuary states and sanctuary cities. And I showed the hypocrisy of all this back in 2020.
Didn't your granny need sanctuary?
Transport illegal aliens to sanctuary jurisdictions. And one of the places we sent 50 to.
Yeah, your granny needed sanctuary.
Martha's Vineyard. And you know what? These are folks that were on their high horse saying how they were a sanctuary jurisdiction, saying nobody's illegal. All
Martha's Vineyard is basically a tourist attraction where a handful of people live year round. They were not prepared, nor were they notified. Springing something on somebody is not fair. If you wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning to have me take on a family with infants, no, I'm not going to be prepared. Yes, I'm going to be pissed off and I'm going to cuss you the fuck out. That doesn't mean that I'm not willing to help people.
You have to deport them. And the reason you have to deport them is they're cutting the line. You've got people who have done this and tried to go through the right way. You can't have them go and jump the line and suddenly do that. And that is actually what will get
So both people on the stage tonight should not be running for president because his granny cut the line and her parents cut the line.
For them to try and migrate here. But when I was at the United Nations and we had this, which is another reason why we need to have Trump here defending himself and talking about what he would do going in the future, because it's a problem.
Why does he need to defend himself? You're running against him, you dumb.
A lot of the reason why they were coming from there is because of gangs and drugs. And so what we did was we had our military go and train them on how to deal with gangs. We went and put drug boats on the water to keep the drugs from coming. But we said you have to have them processed from here.
You a goddamn flaming fucking bitch. You can change your name. You can change your religion. You can try to change the origin story of your parents. You are still a brown woman who is using white supremacist talking points to think that you're about to get a seat at the table. All they gonna do is whip up your skirt and bend you over.
It's been nearly 2 years since Russia invaded Ukraine, and there is still no end in sight to that war. Governor Haley, you say that this is a...
Stop fucking calling this bitch a governor. She's not a governor. The last job she quit was ambassador. Just call her Nikki the...
Do you believe
Nikki Hickey.
Your commitment to a Ukrainian victory?
Nobody knows what he believes. Because
and why the fuck is her mic all the way up there?
Foreign aid to Ukraine. Now he's
who decided that shit?
Like he doesn't want to support Ukraine. But let me tell you why Ukraine should matter. First of all, I don't think we should give cash to any country, friend or foe, because you can't follow it. You can't hold it accountable. I don't think we need to put troops on the ground, and Ukrainians want to win this themselves. But dictators always do what they say they're going to do. China said they were going to take Hong Kong. They did. Russia said they were going to invade Ukraine. We watched it. China says Taiwan is next. We better believe them. Russia said once they take Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics.
And you said you was going to hold marshals hostage. And by your outfit, you did.
It's about preventing war. It's always been about preventing war.
Bitch, how you going to prevent something that's already going on?
3.5% of our defense budget. Biden and no
how you preventing
the truth about that? The Europeans have put in more than that, and they should. It's their neighborhood. But
we're going to prevent the war that's already in full swing, bitch.
And we better remember that you have to be a friend to get a friend. And we needed a lot of friends September 12th. We've got to make sure that we're having the backs of the right friends, because if Russia wins, China wins. There's a reason the Taiwanese want us to help the Ukrainians. And that's because they know if Ukraine wins, China won't invade Taiwan. This is about preventing war.
Well,
no, I'm not. Because if it's about
I supported Trump's policy
preventing war, you motherfuckers
Ukraine.
wouldn't keep giving so much to Israel.
The Biden policy has not been, but Nikki Haley is basically a carbon copy of what Biden is. It's an open-ended commitment. They want another $108 billion. They will not tell you when they have achieved their goal, and this is going to go on maybe hundreds of billions more into the future. I think a lot of people have died. We need to find a way to end
you
this
think
because our priorities for national security.
I'm not even in the government. I know the number.
People like Nikki Haley care more about Ukraine's border than she does about our own southern border, which is wrong. But we also have to look at what's the top threat to this country. It's the Chinese Communist Party. We are not doing what we need to do to have adequate hard power.
Oh, did y'all think that American Communist Party went away?
Have enough resources being $35 trillion.
You want to tell people why you're afraid of communism and the Communist Party? Go ahead, explain that. Break it down. Pretty sure you can.
Deal with the top threat that we face. face of China.
And then I wonder why you.
And
raised
y'all
the
wonder
debt
why I
limit in
take no
Congress,
credence
because we're
in when
all
people
paying
talk
for
about
that. And
Ivy
what I will
League
tell you
schools.
is this is the
Motherfucker
lie
went to
they're teaching
Harvard
the American
and
people
Yale
over
and
and
is
over
still
again. It is
dumb
so
as a
wrong to say
goddamn
this.
doorknob.
They're saying you have to choose between Ukraine or Israel and securing the border. Supporting Ukraine is 3.5% of our budget. I don't want cash going. It's equipment and it's ammunition. If we support Ukraine and
What you
Israel,
want?
that's only 5% of our defense budget.
So
If
you're
we
going to borrow
support-
that?
If we support Ukraine, Israel, and secure the border, that's less than 20% of Biden's green subsidies.
What's up, Boomer?
You do not have to choose when it comes to national security. This is about keeping Americans safe. This is about preventing war. This is about keeping our military men and women from having to fight a war. And you only do that when
Did you come to
focus
join
on
the debate?
national security, not telling lies
Or did
to
you
the
come to try to
American
take a
people
piece of my
that
muffin?
They have to choose. That is wrong. That's never been the case.
So here's the problem with what
We may need to rethink this pupper 2024 because he might sell us out for a snack.
The last debate, by
Here,
Megan
fat boy.
Kelly, she said you bring it to an end by bringing Ukraine
Hold
into
on.
NATO.
Okay, here.
But of course,
You can have a
we're
piece.
a NATO country. So if you bring Ukraine
Yeah,
into NATO,
you
that
got a
puts
corner.
the United States at war. Megan said that to her, and then she basically gave a word salad.
I'm not gonna
as
hold
to
it
how
for
you
you.
go
What-
from there. So they have sent cash.
Take you and
She
your crumbs
supports
off
this
the couch.
$106
Go.
billion that they're trying to get through Congress. Where's some of that money going? They've done tens of billions of dollars to pay salaries for Ukrainian government bureaucrats. They've paid pensions for Ukrainian retirees. With your tax
No,
veterans.
you had a
We have all
piece.
these
I said you could have a
problems.
corner.
This is
I
the
gave you a
UN
corner. Go
way
on
of
somewhere.
thinking that we're somehow globalists and we have unlimited resources to do. You know, I think there's the problem. You can take the ambassador out of the United Nations, but you can't take the United Nations out of the ambassador.
Why are they clapping for
First
that?
of all, I have never
Why are they
said
clapping for that?
or benefits or
But-
anything else to Ukrainians. I've said
That
again, we
that
have to stop
that's an
lying.
actual good
This
flex
is
to
not
have.
stop.
That is
She has the floor.
that is a good
So,
flex to
you know, I
have.
did
We
not
we
support
don't want
the
war
Ukraine. I
crimes.
support
We
equipment and ammunition going to Ukraine. I think it is incredibly important that we're honest. and
DeSantis,
say we
do you
have
want to
focus
remove
on
us from the
national
UN?
security. Don't go
Do you
and
want
lie
to
the
out
American
Trump
people
with
to
that?
make them think we can't do this. You turn around and raise the debt limit. You're the one that's talked about. Look at what you did to Florida, but think about the fact that he's talking about where's this money going to come from.
Come on.
The best way to tell about
About
a
to
candidate
be a
is to see how
girl
they run
fight.
their campaign. He has blown through $150 million. I don't even know how you do that.
goddamn.
Through his campaign, he has nothing to show for it.
Damn.
He spent more money on private planes than he has
Shit.
on commercials trying to get Iowans to vote for him. If you can't manage a campaign,
And illegally
how are you
using a
gonna
super
manage
PAC, by the way.
country? Which is exactly
Well, listen, I'm proud that in the state of Florida, we're ranked number one for economy of all 50 states by CNBC, number one for
highest cost of
education.
living,
She was ranked number 50 in
highest
education when she was governor of
highest
California.
insurance,
And of
Governor
course,
Haley
she
has
wasn't
the floor.
able to do school choice. She didn't deliver big tax cuts. We're also number one for net in-migration, number one for GDP growth amongst large states.
Well, because you told a bunch of
Number
dumb
one for
maggots
talent
that they could come
development,
down there and
number
not
one for
wear a
new
fucking
business
mask.
formations,
And now they're
on
down
it
there
goes.
struggling
So
to
the
pay their
success
bills
we've
with
had in
no
Florida,
insurance and
I
getting
can cite the
and
statistics.
straight
It's
out of
important.
hurricane
But
season.
just look how people are voting with their feet. They're leaving California. They're leaving Illinois, New York, all these states, and they're coming to Florida in record numbers because we're doing it right. And not only have I cut taxes big time where she didn't in governor of South Carolina, we've paid down 25% of our state's debt. That's how you manage the third largest state in this country. Just imagine if we could do that for the United States of America.
So thank you. Let's stay on foreign policy. I want to turn to the Israel-Hamas war. You both have said that you unequivocally support Israel. You both have called for the complete elimination of Hamas. Governor DeSantis, there are real disagreements within Israel about how to handle what happens in Gaza after the war against Hamas is over. Some Israeli cabinet officials are pushing for the mass removal of Palestinians from Gaza. Governor Haley told CNN last
Here,
week
just
she
take
does
the
not
muffin.
support
Shit.
that. Do you?
So we got to support Israel in word and in deed, in public and in private. And they need to be able to finish the job. Joe Biden is kneecapping them. He'll say one thing, then he goes and his base doesn't like Israel, so he's got to do all these other things. This is a time to recognize that they suffered the most deaths of Jews, murder of Jews since the Holocaust. Hamas wants a second Holocaust. They want to annihilate the state of Israel. So I think to be a good ally, you back them in
What?
the decisions that
Where
they're making
are those
with respect
numbers
to
at?
Gaza. Look, there's a lot of pluses
Ronnie
and
Ron Ron?
minuses. with how
No.
you're doing this. But for us to be,
And you do realize
sitting in
Palestinians can be
Washington,
Jewish as well.
second guessing them, I don't think that's the right way. We also have a
Jesus.
disagreement.
And if you have not
Governor
seen the
Haley
series
and I,
that I put
when she
out
was at the
on
UN,
the
she
history
supported
of the
idea
Gaza
a
Strip
two-state
on
solution between
TikTok, make sure
Israel
you
and
go
the
and check that out.
Palestinian Arabs. The problem with that is
Lord
the
Jesus.
Palestinian Arabs don't recognize Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state. So doing a two-state solution doesn't create something that's going to lead to a lasting peace. It
Ron,
creates a stepping
explain to
stone
me
for Israel's
why it's
destruction.
against
So
the
under no
law to get a
circumstances, as
DNA
president,
test
am I going to
in
pressure
Israel.
to risk their security to do a so-called two-state solution? She was wrong when she embraced that, and we're right to say we trust Israel to make these decisions. They're a good ally of ours. We should trust their judgment on these sensitive issues.
No, we're their sugar daddy.
15 seconds.
We are their sugar daddy.
Do you support the mass removal of Palestinians from Gaza?
So as president, I am not going to tell them to do that. I think there's a lot of issues with that. But if they make the calculation that to avert a second Holocaust, they need to.
He's trying to eliminate black and brown people from the United States. Yeah, he goes along with it. He's just waiting for BB from Philly to give him a call and tell him what to say to us all.
Well, first of all, we need to understand the reason we need to support Israel is Israel's a bright spot in a tough neighborhood. They are the tip of the spear when it comes to defeating terrorism. It has never.
They are the terrorists, bitch. They just giving you a whole lot of money.
It's always been that America needs Israel. When I was at the United Nations, I fought.
Oh, I did not know that this was going to be an OnlyFans event. We are watching them get fucked in real time without any lube. This must have been a great paycheck for them to get on camera and let us see them get fucked in real time.
There should be three things.
This is the most boring action I've ever seen. This porn sucks.
Once and for all, and three, do whatever it takes to bring the hostages home. But it's really rich that Ron is going to act like he suddenly cares for Israel when he brought the person to Iowa that's the most anti-Israel Republican.
Hey, I got a question. How does Israel know the exact number of hostages that they are?
Against anti-Semitism on college.
Can anybody answer that for me? Because nobody's keeping track on who comes in and out of Israel. And Israel has residents, citizens, I should say, that don't live in Israel. So how the fuck do you know exactly how many people are captured?
Israeli American populations in the country, and we've been a haven for Orthodox Jews in particular since I've been governor. And you know,
really, because we all thought it was New York.
Get out of the war zone. These are people that were stranded. So I did an executive order. We scrambled planes and we rescued over 700 Americans from Israel and brought them back safely to the state of Florida.
From Israel.
Step up and you got to lead when things like this are happening.
From Israel. We don't have Palestinian Americans.
We did that early.
From Israel. That
you didn't see
they're not in danger. Deborah Messing just took a trip over there. She feels so safe over there.
We're going to say, and not just for Jewish students, anyone who's having religious being persecuted or being marginalized because of their faith in any college around the country.
Oh, really?
Waive the transfer.
Really? Because we black folks that practice comedicism y'all ain't protecting us. Y'all ain't, you know what? Let me break down the soapbox and keep it for tomorrow. Let me keep it for tomorrow.
Escalating into a broader regional conflict. And Governor Haley just yesterday, the U.S. Navy shot down 21 missiles and drones fired by Iranian-backed militants in the Red Sea.
You ate it.
Are now also attacking U.S. and Western interests in Syria and Iraq.
You did. Everybody saw you eat it.
Lindsey Graham is calling for
I gave you the whole dang muffin.
Retaliatory
Come here, you got something on your face. How you
Iran.
get crumbs
Would
up by
you
your
order
eyeballs?
Strikes inside Iran.
Well, first of all, notice Ron
now if you're gonna
didn't say
join the
anything about
debate,
fact that he did bring that
we're gonna
most
have to go to Iowa, but it's
anti-Israel
snowing up there. I don't
into
like
the
snow and
state,
you don't like snow. So
to
how we gonna
and
get
he also
how we and you're not
told you that the
Republican.
only Republican
I asked you if you wanted to be Republican and you said no.
left his campaign because he wasn't dealing with the neo-Nazi
May have been all the
marches
pictures
and
of the
wasn't
snow that
dealing
I
with
sent you, but
anti-Semitism
you know, it
properly.
is what it is.
When it comes to Iran, what we have to understand, there would be no Hamas without Iran. There would not be Houthis without Iran.
That's a lie. That's a blatant lie. That's a motherfucking goddamn lie.
In Syria, that is because of
Iran did.
What we need to do is the idea that we.
Oh, I feel like we're gonna bring back an old school term, insurgent.
We're supposed to have their.
Yeah, I feel like they about to bring that back to really amp it up against the
We need to
people.
go and take out every bit of the production that they have that's allowing them to do those strikes. It's hugely important that we do that. And you can't do
You know,
that
at
if
this
you
point,
have a
I'm just waiting for
Secretary of Defense
Namarata
that
to
is
quote
in
Gandhi at
ICU
this
and
point.
the president doesn't even know about it. What bothers me is how does Biden not talk to his Secretary of Defense every single day, knowing that we have a war in Europe, a war in
Who
the
had
Middle East,
Iran
that we
in
have
plan
our
since the
American
80s?
military with strikes going on them. We've got brain injuries. My husband is deployed right now. As a military spouse, the idea that the Secretary of Defense would not even be in contact with the president, much less in contact with his staff, is unforgivable.
Governor DeSantis.
Was it unforgivable when you quit? And you quit like LeBron did? You just packed up and took your. Well, we know you didn't go to South Beach.
We did a special session in the legislature down in Florida. We expanded sanctions against Iran. If we were our own country, we'd be the 14th largest economy in the world. The root of this is Biden came into office and he relaxed the sanctions on Iran. They've had massive amounts of money flooding into their country, just like under the Obama administration. They take that money and they use it to fund jihad around the world. I'm the only one running for president that served in the armed forces. I deployed to Iraq back in 2007, 2008.
As an
so
officer.
I understand what our military goes
Not
through.
a gentleman,
I would
just an
never
officer.
put our troops in harm's way like Biden is doing in the Middle East without defending them with everything they got. If you harm a
We
hair
know
on the
how
head
you
of one
like
of
to
our
defend
service members,
people.
you are going to be
Torture.
held to pay. He's leaving them out to dry. And I think it's
You're a war
disgraceful for
criminal.
Commander-in-Chief to do
Thank
it.
you, Governor. The CNN
So I guess, yeah,
Republican president
you would be
live
apropos
live
for
on We'll be
the
right back
protests.
After this, go to CNN.com for real-time debate analysis. Stay with us.
All right. Now, while we're waiting, you're very to tell us what is very played out. You're acting as if we're sitting here just foaming at the mouth and gripping to see what they're going to say next, and as if we're believing them. So what are you sorry to tell us? What do you have to tell us? Think about that. I do have an update for you guys on our favorite telenovela while we're on a commercial break, because why not? Arthur Knight has been extradited.
A rape suspect who faked his own death has been extradited from Scotland to the US after a long-running legal battle. Scottish ministers signed an order in September last year giving permission for 36-year-old Nicholas Rossi to be extradited. Last month, appeal judges had quashed Rossi's bid to avoid extradition, paving the way for him to be removed from Scotland to face serious sex charges in the US. The order followed a battle in Scotland's courts in which Rossi was ruled to be wanted by authorities in Utah for the alleged rape of a woman in 2008. Officials in the US believe he is a fugitive who faked his death and fled to the UK to evade justice. But Rossi has repeatedly claimed he is the victim of mistaken identity and says he is an Irish orphan called Arthur Knight. The suspect, who was born Nicholas Alaverdian before changing his surname to that of his adoptive stepfather, David Rossi, claimed he had been diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in late 2019 and told friends he was dying. An obituary appeared online for Rossi in early 2020, saying he had died and that his ashes had been scattered at sea.
Nicholas Rossi update! Well, it finally happened right now. Nicholas Rossi, aka Arthur Knight, aka Nicholas Alaverdian, is in an airplane at 35,000 feet flying back to the USA to face charges stemming from his 2008 RAPE allegations in Utah. Police Scotland confirmed that the 36-year-old con man, fabulist, and sexual assaulter was shoved out of Edinburgh Airport today on a private plane. Now, whether that means commercial aviation as opposed to a government aircraft or a full-on private Gulfstream jet befitting someone of Rossi's self-importance, we're uncertain. And if you're wondering if this extradition by plane back to Utah means that the Essex police in England are no longer pursuing Rossi for an alleged 2020 essay he committed down there, no, it doesn't. In fact, he has just been re-bailed in England for another 3 months while that investigation continues to be ongoing. So yeah, it is very possible that this is not the last we've seen of Nicholas Nicholas Rossi in the UK. This is breaking news. It literally just happened like 3 minutes ago, so there are a lot of details we don't know yet. But as they develop over the course of the day, I'm going to bring them to you. And of course, I'm going to continue following this story until Rossi is safely behind bars in the UK, in the USA, or whatever the hell else other countries he's committed crimes in. Stay tuned.
Had to bring that to you guys. I wasn't going to wait until tomorrow. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're a conspiracy theorist that unfortunately stumbled across my platform tonight. Are you fucking, yeah, you are fucking serious. Okay. The internal war. Smart cities under 5G. Yeah, stay off Twitter, bumpkins. Stay off Twitter. I know Elon Musk has this whole thing to make a completely smart city. He he can't even make babies that like him. Okay? With all his billions of dollars that he doesn't even liquidate. His uber awkward ass. And like I said, I'm the grand poobah of awkwardness. Can't even keep a woman. Can't even get a woman to stay around. Okay? Everybody's talking about gold diggers. The variety of women that Elon Musk is attracted to, and he can't even keep one. I guess everybody doesn't want to dig for emeralds. If you know, you know. But we're not going to do conspiracy theories here. We deal in actual fact and history. And what is this stronghold obsession y'all have with 5G? Well, let's get back into it, because there ain't nothing but to do it.
That you signed into law. How does that square with the traditional conservative view that small, limited government is best?
The proper role of government, if it means anything, it's to protect our kids. And I've stood for the innocence of our kids. It is wrong. It is wrong to sexualize the curriculum. It's wrong. And my wife and I, we've got a first grader at kindergarten.
Innocence of kids, but you use your kids as props in a Trump campaign ad and one of your campaign ads.
Third grader that you're born in the wrong body. So I stood up against, the media.
Nobody's telling third graders that they're born in the wrong body.
Gorilla in the state of Florida.
Nope, nobody's telling kids that. Okay, people are just allowing kids to express themselves so they can stop shooting up fucking schools and stop offing themselves.
And our kids are better off. Now, Nikki Haley sided with Disney. She invited them to South Carolina, even though they were involved.
You still crying over Disney?
That is not what we need to do. But I think that's similar. She is representative.
You're mad at Disney, because they wouldn't bend the knee. Now you're crying over all the airways.
Then when she got out of office, she took a seat on their board and she made millions of dollars. Then she gave speeches, paid speeches to a lot of Wall Street interests.
Well, isn't that the point of a career?
You know what she promised them.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm not working for free.
Now they're the ones.
Now, I don't even like Ms. Haley.
So we need to stand up for the people and not bow down to woke corporations. And we know Nikki Haley.
Define woke, Ronnie.
Every single time.
Define woke.
It was intended to secure the rights and freedoms of the people. It was never meant to be all things to all people. And what we don't need is
nothing y'all say is meant to be all things to all people. It's just supposed to be all things to white people.
Because I have never said anything related to the transgender stuff he says. I have always fought to protect kids. I've always said that boys need to go into boys' bathrooms, girls need to go into girls' bathrooms, that we shouldn't have.
That's not protecting kids, you daft bitch.
18. Just like we don't have tattoos before the age of 18, we shouldn't have.
But you do have plastic surgery before the age of 18. Kylie Jenner, baby.
Talks about this Disney because Disney has been woke for a long time. They were against the immigration situation that Trump was doing. They were against the Paris Climate Agreement when I did it. They were against the pro-life bill in Georgia. Ron didn't have any problem with that. As a matter of fact,
because everybody goes to Disney, and Disney wants everybody's money. Disney really don't give a shit about none of it. They have an anti-Semite, racist son of a bitch buried someplace on the property, allegedly.
Allegedly. Started to fight back. We don't need government fighting against our private industries. Well, we are not woke in South Carolina. I will always invite
That
businesses to come to South
Ron
Carolina.
DeSantis wants to be
But
the
one
one
thing
wearing
we
the
don't do
Tinkerbell
is
wings.
government
Because
doesn't
fun fact,
bully
y'all,
businesses, and that
you
can't
know
happen. And
his
Ron
wife
DeSantis
is a Disney
everybody's
adult.
friends.
They got
People
married
go for them
at
and
Disney. Yeah, Ron DeSantis got married at Disney.
To protect kids, but when she was governor of South Carolina, they had a bill to
But did you
girls
protect
from
your
men going into
kids?
the
Because
bathroom.
let's not forget,
Killed
it
and
made
she
front
bragged about
page
it for
news
years
nationally
She
that
didn't
a
stand
tree
up and
fell on
fight
your
for kids.
house, not
She
the
took it
governor's
to the
mansion,
Chamber of
your
Commerce and
house,
Industry. She said
while
it was
you were
against
out of
the
town,
surgeries for
while
minors.
your wife
That
and
wasn't what
kids
she
was
said
there.
this summer.
Who you
She
protecting?
was asked about it
The
and
kids
talked
stealing your
about it, and
balls?
she said
Is
the
that what you
law should
protecting?
stay
The
out of
kids
it.
that stealing your balls?
Criticized her in the last debate. She took a lot of heat. So then
Yeah, he got married at Disney. His wife is a whole Disney adult.
I'm glad she's come to the right thing. But here's the deal. It goes back to
Look,
that young kid in the
I'll
town of
tell
Hall
y'all
that
a
she
lot
met,
of things,
where
but
he
the
said,
one thing I ain't
"Nikki
gonna tell
Haley,
you is a
you are
lie."
the new John Kerry. You're for it before you were against it."
It's a shame that we had to put up DeSantisLies.com. Honestly, if he would spend as much time trying to prove,
Can you put up TrumpLies.com?
he would be doing a lot better in the polls.
Or whoever owns the domain, can you hit me up so I can buy it from you so I can populate it?
Is because he spent more time trying to lie about me.
Y'all
than
know
he
I
is
was
about
working on
telling
it,
the
right?
truth about
Yeah.
himself.
So you didn't kill the bathroom bill.
I have never said that we.
Why y'all so worried about what people doing in the bathroom? You know the bathrooms in your homes and the homes that you go to and the bathrooms on all these planes and in these hotels are gender neutral. Y'all know that, right? They're gender neutral.
Girls go into girls' bathrooms, boys go into boys' bathrooms, and if they're
Just go fucking pee.
They use a private bathroom. I have fought for women's sports and making
From Guantanamo to Disney, the Ron DeSantis
to raise strong girls.
Oh my
Strong
God,
girls
I
become
can't.
strong women.
Oh, I
Strong
can't.
women become strong leaders. None of that happens if we have
Governor Haley, according to the U.S. Department of Education, in 2017, the year you left office, South Carolina schools ranked in the bottom 10 nationwide in both reading and math scores. Given that, why should voters concerned about K through 12 education support you rather than other Republicans?
Because I think what we did was we knew that there was an issue. We knew in South Carolina, if a child couldn't read by third grade, they were 4 times less likely to graduate high school. So what we did is,
first of all, a child should actually start learning to read in the third grade, not before that, because they're not actually learning anything. They're memorizing it. This is why children have issues later. And when kids can pass tests between K and third grade, and then they get past it, you're wondering why they're illiterate. There is a lovely gentleman on TikTok that's learning how to read, who has documentation that from K to third grade, they thought that he was off the charts, where he admits he just memorized shit. That's what they're doing. They're not learning.
Reduce the strings that are attached, and that way states can handle.
You cannot learn how to talk and express yourself at the same time you're trying to learn something through somebody else's voice, because that's what reading is. You're reading what somebody else wrote with their intent. If you're a good parent, you're not wondering, because you know they give syllabi.
And we need to start putting vocational classes.
They send out information throughout the school year. If you don't know what the fuck is going on in the classroom, you didn't read the information, you didn't read the guidebooks and the handbooks, and you're not talking to your fucking kids. That's nobody else's issue but your own. I thought y'all was about small government, but y'all trying to put government all up in through everything to cover for the fact that you motherfuckers don't parent shit. You want to blame society because y'all don't want to do. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot. History there for a minute, y'all. I almost forgot. They're only a generation out from having to take care of their children if they're under a certain tax bracket, because those that are still within a certain tax bracket still ain't raising their fucking kids. That's why they have these complaints. They're out of touch and they don't know what's going on in the classroom because the fucking nanny does. Or the mistress.
I delivered the biggest school choice expansion in the history of the United States. We beat the teachers union.
Ugh.
We've even done paycheck protection so that school unions.
No, the fuck you haven't. We see all the goddamn teachers. We have social media. The teachers have social media. We have friends. They talk to us. Bitch, what the fuck? You weak. And you
everyone can succeed, but you gotta have a leader who's gonna fight the teachers unions. He's gonna deliver school choice. Did that here in Iowa. Who's endorsed me?
Sorry, men, but every woman out there just knows what I just said. They all know what I just said. Sometimes you don't have the words, but you can still communicate.
And there's certain standards about what's age and developmentally appropriate. It's wrong to have pornographic materials in 4th or 5th grade. And you know what's
where's all this porn? Where's all between me going through school, my siblings going through school, nieces and nephews going through school, younger cousins, my children going through school, the Gigi babies now going through school. Where the fuck is this porn? Where the fuck is this porn? What's being jammed down their throat? My side hustle is tutoring people, parents coming to me to teach their children accurate history. I get a look at all of the curriculum from all over the country. Where the fuck is this porn? Where the fuck is this porn? Scholarships where? For who? For who? Because wasn't that what Pell Grants were supposed to be?
You know, I have fought for school choice in my
Woo!
entire career.
I thought you wasn't an elitist, but that's what you're talking like because that's what the fuck you are. Y'all don't.
That's why we empowered homeschoolers in our state. That's why we changed the funding formula. So we lifted up challenged areas.
If this isn't your cue, if this isn't your cue, let this be a cue because, like I keep telling you, Capitol Hill is up for grabs. Start primarying people who are out of touch. We're gonna have nation scholar. That's what
teachers right now have to be.
The fuck do you think a grant? But see, they don't even know that grants exist. They don't even know grants fucking exist.
That's not what teachers want. Teachers want to do what they were taught to do. And that means math, science, reading, history, English, arts. That's it. Schools can't be all things to all kids. They need to let the parents parent. They need to let teachers teach.
And you know what? When my parents were allowed to parent, I was able to go to a school that was set up like a college. And I got to study critical thinking, aka under the Paideia method of thinking, which actually works great for people with ADHD and people with autism. Because it's not a standard way. You don't just answer a bunch of questions. You're asked, how does this work? How does this go with this? How does it fit in? How does it participate in life? How can you link this to that? Shut the fuck up. Both of you dumb. I swear. You know what? Instead of having debates, we should be able to interview the children of candidates. Blur out the minors' faces, but ask them, like, see if they can take some tests. Because I don't want anybody in control of anything. And I want to see their household budgets. Because if you're not doing it like Cardi B do it, bitch, don't even run for office. And if y'all don't know how Cardi B runs her house, Sister Girl knows every dollar going out, every dollar coming in. She knows the price of everything. And she's like, whoa, 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 why we going here to go get it? You know, down the street, this is cheaper. Why we ain't just going down the street and getting it? Why we getting it delivered? Come on. Where my shoes? Where my keys? We gonna go get it. That's what I'm talking about.
And he goes and he has been demeaning me over and over again, telling lies to DeSantis.
You gonna cry about it? Bitch, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen when you become president?
Campaign for president in one state, you're in.
They still fucking with Michelle Obama and she wasn't fucking president. You need to toughen the fuck up. You're a brown woman living in the United States, and this lets me know that you have been delulu for too fucking long, and you have decided that you are a white woman and that you're not going to take in any criticism or any of the racism that has come your way. Because ain't no fucking way you sitting up here crying about a handful of bullshit that he said with the shit we got to go through every fucking day. You got me completely fucked up.
Leadership is about producing results. We've produced the results
Leadership
in
is
Florida.
about
We did get
garnering
universal school choice. We
respect
cut taxes.
and
We banned
honoring the
Social Security.
wishes
Bottom
for
down
the
line,
masses the
everything
best
that
way
Congress
that you
like
can.
delivered, she doesn't have a rationale for why she couldn't get it done.
Oh,
You look at me.
he
everything
done
I
went
promised
back to
I would do, I've delivered. You can expect
1952.
nothing less.
He about to tell you what you're finna do. Oh, he about 2 steps away from telling you to go in the kitchen and make him a sandwich.
Let me tell you what leadership is. Leadership is the fact that I went into South Carolina that had 11% unemployment rate. Leadership is the fact that we turned it into an
And you quit.
powerhouse, building planes, building cars,
And you
building
quit.
tires. We were named the beast of the Southeast.
And you quit. And you tokenize black people while denying your own brownness. That's not leadership, ho.
We moved 35,000
What it is, ho? What's up? We waiting for you to tell the truth.
We passed voter ID. We passed tort reform. We did pension reform.
Why would you pass voter ID?
Taxes. We made sure that people were proud again. We did e-verify in the first
I will
6
be
months, not
47
5
years
like
old.
So don't go and pick on school
in 3
choice and
months.
say that's leadership. When I got to the UN, we cut $1 billion off.
When I first registered to vote, got a little thing in the mail, little voter registration card, names, you know, all that stuff. That was good enough. Why do we now need voter registration laws, Nimrata?
Governor Haley, American farmers were hurt by former President Trump's trade war with China. As a result, his administration paid out $28 billion in subsidies to farmers. You have vowed to be even tougher than Donald Trump on China. If your trade policies also end up hurting America's farmers, are you prepared to cut a check just like he did?
Well, that's why Trump should be here on this debate stage. He should have to defend it. So
nobody's asked. She asked you about you, bitch. Stop saying Trump needs to be here. Are you on the fucking legal team? How answer the goddamn question? You sitting there going hard against Rhonda. Go against Donatella too. Shit.
We need to go to our universities and we say you either take Chinese money or you take American money. But
the fuck does a university have to do with the farmer? Yes, I know that there are some farmers that go to school for agriculture because it helps, because especially when they're trying to do hybrids and they're trying to bring crops into different parts of the country. But bitch, she asked you specifically about farmers, not agriculturalists. You sitting here still trying to suck Trump's dick. Spit it out. Spit it out. Just give your homeboy next to you the Badissi. Shit. This is the lamest fucking OnlyFans live stream I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Shit.
Philippines, Australia, Israel. We will go and move that trade over. Right now, you can ask our...
Don't nobody want shit from Israel.
Orders, cancels the order, then goes and tries to...
We don't want shit from Israel.
That's what China does. Our farmers deserve better than that.
You're not giving them better than that, bitch. Everything that you just said is going to fuck up our farmers here.
Everything we're making in South Carolina. When I'm president, we will sell and export.
When you're president, we're going to be counting down the clock from when you quit, bitch. The fuck y'all clapping for? Your brain dead sons of bitches? She said a whole bunch of goddamn. You know what? I'm gonna start a cult. The Taz Church of Heathens. The Church of Scientology is about to be emptied out up the street from me. We can use that as a beating place.
Particularly things that are nationally.
That'll probably be when they stop trying to IQ test me.
Strategic about it. There's a lot of moving parts there, but we're going to do that. Nikki Haley's not going to be able to do that because a lot of her supporters make a lot of money in China, and so she's going to talk tough, but she'll cave on.
Didn't your supporters move over to Nikki?
She's saying they shouldn't be buying land and be in the university.
And one of her biggest supporters is the Koch brothers and they homeboys.
As governor in Florida, I banned
y'all really don't know how to network and play the game. You ain't never conducted business over a golf game, have you? No, you haven't. Shit.
Development arm. You had an office in Hong Kong. On the website, it said that Florida is a great place to do for Chinese companies to do business. And then when we called you out on it, you had the website scrubbed. So we know that that's the case. What I will tell you is we need to focus on what we're going to do to become less dependent on China. And we need to make sure that we look at it through a national security lens. When we had COVID, everybody told you to wear a mask, it was made in China. They told you to take a COVID test, you turn it over, it was made in China. If you go down the drugstore aisle, all those medicines are made in China. We need to make sure we're getting medicines made here, or we need to get it from our friends so that we're not in any way threatened. But I'll tell you, Ron continues to sit there and talk about China.
Nikki, you hail from the continent of Asia. Daddy is your friend.
China gave them $340,000.
You got a friend
so
in me.
Talk about donors and money. Go to DeSantis
China, just give us some more money.
Governor DeSantis, I want to.
My
Governor
record
DeSantis, I wanna-
economic power.
You're talking the opposite of what you did. You made a big effort to bring them into the state. They had land near a military base. You were in front of the Chinese flag saying you work for them. You wrote a love letter to the ambassador. That's well documented. You were the #1 Republican governor in the country. And even people that on the media who are hostile to me, they say they can't find one instance of me as governor recruiting a Chinese company because I haven't done it. It's not been part of that. And the Enterprise Florida, we actually eliminated. So here's the thing, though. She's backed by companies like BlackRock. She's backed by major companies on Wall Street. They make a lot of money in China. There's a reason why you're in the mess you are in terms of trying to deal with the inflation and everything.
Rhonda, your feelings is hurt that a woman got somebody that you want to pull yourself.
About something that you mentioned, you've been talking a lot about on the campaign trail, which is decoupling the U.S. economy with China's. China is a top supplier of goods to the United States. The U.S. sells more than $150 billion of goods to China every year. Is it really possible to sever economic ties without inflicting major pain on American business and American consumers?
Ron doesn't make good business decisions.
Strategic, you got to be methodical about. You got to focus on the things that are of national significance. For example, I don't think it's good.
Ron, if you were methodical and you thought about things and you were strategic, your wife would not look miserable every single day.
We got into a worldwide conflict. We're going to ask China to maybe on the other side of that to continue doing that. So you got to be smart about it. You got to recognize that you're going to have to do some incentives here in this country, tax incentives, regulatory incentives. But I want to make things here again. You know,
I'm on a task. Yeah,
that have been
definitely,
particularly in the eastern part. And I've talked to folks and seen what that did for the community. We were sold a bill of goods by a lot of elites in this country that somehow put.
You are one of the elites, Ron.
Granting a most favored nation status.
You're an elite that hails from an immigrant. I don't know why you keep trying to distance yourself from all of this shit, but then give the talking points from people from. You know what? I'm gonna let them figure it out. Let them figure it out.
We're going to work on workforce education. Not everyone.
What the fuck is workforce education? Because if you're determining what the workforce is, our workforce is going to, our society is going to collapse.
We're going to do vocational. We've done that in Florida.
We need more than vocational.
I just think the middle of the country.
Because you know what does trickle down? It's not the economy, but what trickles down
of some of the people on Wall
is
Street
intellectual property and content. If you have no one asking the philosophical questions that leads to scientific innovation, that leads to new technology, that leads to the books and the criteria and the curriculum that teaches that where are we going to be? We're going to be stalled. Now, I don't know about y'all, but which one of y'all still wanted to be stuck in 1945 technology United States?
All seniors out there, promise has been made to you.
And if you're calling yourself a conservative, you were supposed to be conserving the lifestyle that began when conservatism began. So why are you talking about putting anything into trade schools or technology when the trades and technology isn't the same as what you are supposed to be holding up, upholding and spackling the foundation of?
It used to be people would say, well,
oh, you didn't think about that.
Mirror that. Well, the problem now in the last 5 years is life expectancy is going down.
Shit, I thought it was going to be the Jetsons too. Till I saw that mashup of the Jetsons and the Flintstones, and I was like, God damn, which part am I going to end up in?
I'll work with both sides.
Am I going to be on the ground or am I going to be in the sky?
Long-term strengthening, but I am not going to mess with seniors' benefits.
And then I also realized that Judy Jetson used to get on my fucking nerves, and so did Astro.
Rent is going through the roof. All these staples, and you get a cost of living adjustment.
Rent is going through the roof. 25 minutes ago, motherfucker, you were saying that Florida was the place to be, and Florida was so affordable, and you had everything figured out. So which one is it, Playboy?
We're going to get energy costs down. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to help seniors. But I think seniors should know promise made will be a promise kept.
So just a point of clarification, 15 seconds.
Given the things that I carry around in my personal loan, Sabrina, I'm happy with the technology, because we know if we ever get stranded together, we gonna survive with what I keep in my purse. We gonna be able to survive.
Life expectancy's down.
We're gonna be connected, we're gonna be warm, we're gonna be fed. I'm gonna be able to patch you up. We can perform some surgeries.
He voted to raise life expectancy to 70 years old. 3 years in a row. Go to DeSantisLies.com and you'll see it. So now suddenly he's going to tell you, because he's running for president, he's not going to do it. You can't trust him. What I'll tell you, Social Security is going to go bankrupt in 10 years. Medicare is going to go
because you all are giving Social Security to the wealthy that do not need it, but not taxing them and making them pay into Social Security. But you're denying, rightfully so, people who have never held a job, because you're supposed to get out of Social Security what you put into it.
We have to keep our
So please explain to me how people who never put shit into Social Security, because they're in the top 1%, are able to draw out of Social Security when they don't need it.
No. What we do is we go to
Oh, you don't want to tell the people that, right? You don't want to tell people that little nugget.
Life expectancy. Instead of cost of living increases, we do.
Y'all are decreasing everybody else's life expectancy with your fucking lies. You're stressing us the fuck out. Shit.
That's how we'll deal with making sure they have.
Reducing the benefits, when you do the change in calculation, reducing the benefits. So let's just put this in perspective. Under her administration, you would have seniors getting a less cost of living adjustments, while your tax dollars are going to pay the pensions of Ukrainian bureaucrats.
That's not true.
You talk about putting Americans last.
No, you want to know who's benefiting? Israel. They're getting the universal health care that y'all told us we don't have the money for. They're getting free collegiate education that y'all tell us we don't have the money for. Shit, they're getting we're sending our citizens over there to get dual citizenship on our taxpayer dime. When you say we don't have the money for shit, you're saying we don't have the money to feed children in school, and that we are going to double charge kids, because y'all do realize when those school levies are passed, food is already incorporated into it. So please ask your school boards why in the first place we're fucking charging kids to eat.
Governor Haley, you want to raise the retirement age for younger Americans, but you have not said what that age should be.
Hold on.
Voters in their 20s.
Let me pause this for a second. Hold on. Let me say this again, because I'm so tired of this argument and people missing it. When school levies and school budgets are put down, the budget for the staff in the cafeteria, the food, the supplies, and everything is already incorporated into it. Why are children being charged in the first place to eat? Why are children being charged for food and services that are already paid for? Please bring this question to the attention of your school boards, of your principals, of your local representatives. Because we're fighting against, they're taking away free lunch. It shouldn't be a free versus paid lunch. The shit's already paid for. Because if we're going to charge for food, why aren't we charging for books, for test papers, for sitting in the chairs and the desks, for the chalk and the chalkboards? Because it's already in the fucking budget that's been levied. So ask yourself, what cruel ass motherfucker decided to start conditioning children to be put into financial classes while they're supposed to be focusing on their education? Let's get back to it.
Expectancy should be.
Well, one of the things that I think we disagree on too is Governor Haley has said Social Security is an entitlement, but it's not an entitlement. You're paying into it. It's not a welfare program. You're being taxed for this your whole life. And so to expect to have benefits on the back end.
You're not being taxed for Social Security. It is a set amount that is removed, like a savings program, like an HSA. So why are you giving it to rich people who don't need it and who aren't made to pay into
Number
it?
2, we need a balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Number 3, we need to give the president a line item veto. And number 4, when you see
how you gonna have a balanced budget amendment?
Like Nancy Pelosi, she could run a very.
No, I want you to explain the balanced budget amendment.
Constitution, it says very simply, Congress shall make no law respecting the citizens of the United States that does not also apply to members of Congress themselves.
Well, wait. No. I need you motherfuckers to stop clapping for dumb shit. Members of Congress are citizens of the fucking United.
President Trump is not pro-life. Do you agree?
I mean, look, I think that he did some pro-life things when he was president. You'd have to ask him. That's why he should be on this debate stage. Don't ask me what President Trump thinks. You need to have him on this debate stage and ask him for yourself.
Governor DeSantis?
Well,
did her lips decrease? Did both of their lips decrease during this debate? Because it seems like both of their ancestors just keep snatching more and more collagen out them lip holes.
We've done it in the state of Florida. Donald Trump has attacked that. What they did under Governor Reynolds here in Iowa, he said that that's a, quote, terrible, terrible thing. I don't know how you square that. He was at the March for Life when he was president his last year, and he said that life's a gift from God, that the unborn are made in the image of God, and that you needed to have protections for those.
Okay, so if we're going under the God mandate, God himself said that life starts at first breath.
To weaponize that against pro-lifers, and that's wrong. But here's the thing. Republicans need to do a better job.
Yeah, y'all pro-life till it's your daughter, your son, or your mistress.
In this environment, you need to help with medical care. You need to help with affordability, and we need to help with education choice. You got to be pro-life.
Education choice, bitch. You're not choosing to educate anybody.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Governor, yesterday in Iowa, you criticized Governor Haley on this issue of abortion. You said she's, quote, indulged in left-wing tropes and chastised pro-lifers. Do you believe Governor Haley is sufficiently pro-life?
I think she's been confused on the issue. I think she's trying to speak to different groups with different things. But when she says things like pro-lifers need to stop talking about throwing women in jail, that's a trope. No one I've ever met thinks that that's something that's appropriate. These women are invulnerable.
Hello, Ohio.
Help a lot of times from
Ohio, 2 cases in Ohio wanted to send a physician to prison for helping a molested 10-year-old who became pregnant get an abortion, and trying to send a woman who suffered a miscarriage at her home to prison. So,
I do agree with her on that.
Ronnie, I thought you were going to bring out another story about somebody that you ran into that nobody else knows about, because you always seem to know a person in these situations.
Tough time saying whether a man can become a woman or not. To explain why he wants to build a $1 billion plus big, beautiful new FBI building right in the heart of the swamp in Washington, D.C. He needs to explain why he didn't build the wall.
D.C. don't got no swamps, but Florida surely does.
To the debt.
And one of them swamps is, I think, is in one of your kitten heels.
Entitled to your vote. And he comes in here every now and then. He does his spiel, and then he leaves. I've shown up to all 99 counties because it's important. You
showed up to all 99 counties because you're a bitch and you're an incel that just happened to find somebody that will let you touch their hoo-ha, and you know that you're going to lose, but your ego won't let you drop out.
About me for being pro-life, but I'm not surprised. It's something that he does all day, every day. I'm unapologetically pro-life, not because the Republican Party tells me to be, but because my husband is adopted, and I've got my 2 sweet children sitting in front of me.
The fuck does your husband being adopted have to do with pro-life?
Talk about abortion. I have said over and over again.
So your husband's trauma
on abortion and Republicans
is why you're pro-life.
This is too personal of an issue to put fear.
So you as a mother don't understand how fucked up adoption can be.
And support as many moms as possible.
And you want to keep exploiting your husband who's out on deployment, who can't check your ass right about now.
We're not going to play politics with this issue anymore. We're going to treat it like the.
You know what? I need Vivek and Nikki's parents to speak.
Where is anybody anybody talking
Now,
about putting a
Vivek's
woman in
wife
jail
be
or giving her the death
she be
penalty.
saying the
South
damn thing. She be
Carolina,
like,
there's
he full of shit.
legislation right
I
now
don't know where he
jail
get
if
this
the
shit
death
from because he don't say this shit
That's
at
what
home.
I said.
She put it out there. But I need both of their spouses to get a spine and say some shit. But, you know, Mrs. DeSantis wants to be the next Melania. And he better worry about how much like Melania she wants to be.
Talk about how important it is to protect the U.S. Constitution. 2 years after losing the 2020 election, Donald Trump wrote on social media about his baseless election lies, quote, "A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution," unquote. On that subject, former Vice President Mike Pence has said that on January 6, 2021, Donald Trump put himself over the Constitution. Governor Haley, is there any meaningful difference in how you and Donald Trump view the Constitution?
I mean, look, you take an oath to the Constitution. And I think what you're seeing is Donald Trump basically said that the election was stolen. He went on and on talking about the election being stolen. He said that January 6th was a beautiful day. I think January 6th was a terrible day. We should never want to see
He
that
basically
happen. And I
said
think
the
we have to
Constitution
always
was
push home on the
wrong
fact
and to
that,
throw
look,
it
we want fair
out, to
elections.
set it
And
on
we saw some
fire.
discrepancies in those elections in 2020 that should be concerning. That's why I passed voter ID in South Carolina. That's why I
Oh,
think when
bitch, shut the
absentee
fuck up.
ballots
Because
go
you
out, we
said
should
that you
be
would
able to
pardon him, and we
verify
all know you
signatures.
ain't gonna
That's why
pardon the
big ballots
goddamn
need to
thing.
be counted on election day, and you should get results on election day. But that election.
Oh, it should be
Trump
counted on
lost
election day. Oh, we're gonna
Biden
act like
won
we
that
don't know how
election. And the
elections work.
idea that he's going
You're a
to carry
former
this on
governor, and
forever
you're gonna act
to the
like you
point
don't
that he's
know
going to
how
continue to
elections
say
work.
these things to scare the American people are wrong. We've seen a lot
How
of
you gonna
states
count all
come
them
together
votes
and
in
do
one
more
day?
election integrity bills. We need to do more than that. We still have 3 or 4
Never in the
states
history
that
of this
worry
country
about
have
that don't
all the
have that.
votes been able
But
to
at
be
the end of the
counted
day,
in
I will
one
always
fucking day.
defend and fight for the Constitution. That's what
Especially since we
should
have
do as
different time
Americans.
zones.
I think what happened on January 6th was a terrible day, and I think President Trump will have to answer for it.
So just a clarification.
What the fuck are y'all clapping for again?
Is there any meaningful difference in how you and Donald Trump view the Constitution?
Well, I mean, I think that he says January 6th was a beautiful day. I don't think it was a
That's
beautiful
not
day.
what the fuck he said. He asked you specifically about what Trump said about the goddamn Constitution. You almost had some balls, bitch. Get your 2-1 foo together and let your balls drop and let it do what it do.
Votes happen at the state level. You don't ever allow in DC for those votes to be changed at the federal
Thank you,
level.
Governor.
States' rights matter.
Thank you, Governor. Governor DeSantis, is there any meaningful difference?
You and the
in how
states'
you and
rights,
Donald
bitch.
Trump
You
view
trying
the
to bring back
Constitution?
slavery?
My role model for how to do the Constitution is George Washington. He said, "The Constitution is the guide that I will never abandon." And I remember when I took an oath to be an officer in the U.S.
George
Navy,
Washington took out
you
ads
raise
to
that
chase
hand,
down
you put that
slaves,
left hand
bitch.
on
What the
Bible.
fuck?
And it's interesting. The oath doesn't say that you're going to defend the shores of the United States or engage in military conflict. The oath simply says that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
And what the fuck does the Constitution say, bitch?
The Constitution of the United
You
States.
talking about the oath?
You
What
can't
does the
just terminate
Constitution
the
say?
Constitution. I mean, I know he does, word vomit from time to time on social media, but obviously I will uphold the Constitution. And I think it's fine to criticize Donald Trump, and I know the media brings this up a lot. But you know who else deserves to be criticized? The people that violated the Constitution during COVID to lock people out of schools, to destroy businesses.
That was not a
to force
constitutional
masks on people,
violation.
to try to force vaccines.
Jesus
I'm gonna bring
Christ.
a
You know what?
reckoning to all
You know,
these
just
agencies, the
drop
CDC,
to,
the
you know
NIH,
what?
the FDA.
Go ahead and bend Nikki over and just open your mouth and let Trump put his Vienna, well, half of Vienna sausage down in your mouth. If he put some of that whitening toothpaste that's going viral on TikTok on it, it'll probably help you smile.
Your opponent, Donald Trump, was in court yesterday for a hearing on presidential immunity. And Governor DeSantis, I'm wondering if you agree with the argument that Donald Trump's lawyer made in court that a president should have immunity for any conduct in office, including, as the judge asked, ordering the assassination of a political rival, unless the president gets impeached and convicted by the Senate for the offense first.
Well, obviously, that attorney gave the case away on that explanation. I think the D.C. Circuit is going to rule against Donald Trump on that issue. I'm not exactly sure what the outer limits are. I don't think it's necessarily been litigated. It's not going to be an issue with me because I'm always going to follow the Constitution, and we're gonna.
You've never followed the Constitution, you crybaby, kitten heel wearing bitch. You're fighting against drag queens, but you are one. I can see your foundation slipping, bitch.
My wife and I, we just view ourselves to try to do well for our kids and to make sure they're proud of us and we set a good example.
Your kids ain't proud of
that's
you.
what we would do in that situation. But I think there's a larger issue Republicans have got to think of. Donald Trump's going to lose that appeal.
Your kids
He's gonna
getting
end up
beat
going
up
to
in school because of
trial
you.
in front of a stacked left-wing DC jury of all Democrats. What are the odds that he's going to get through that?
That's a lie. It is not a stacked. First of all, judges are not partisan. Okay, they are appointed by Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Whigs, whatever. But it is not stacked because the judge that was giving it to him the most was appointed by a Republican, and we don't even know what her political standing is, which we should not, since she is a judge.
The failures of the Democratic Party and how we have the formula to engineer a great comeback for this country.
That Ivy League education. What the fuck are y'all clapping for? You goofy, ignorant sons of bitches.
Do you agree with the argument Donald Trump's lawyer made in court that a president should have immunity for any conduct, including ordering the assassination of a political rival, unless that president is impeached?
Oh, she got them shifty eyes like she did when she was talking about slavery.
That's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we need to use some common sense here. You can't go and kill.
Oh, you have common sense now?
Claim, you know, immunity from a president. I think we have to start doing things that are right. And, you know, Ron said we should have leaders that we can look up to. Well, then stop lying, because nobody's going to want to look up to you if you're lying. But what I do think we need.
Are you going to say that Trump has been lying and nobody should look up to him? Goofing smirts.
And our country is completely divided. It's divided over extremes. It's divided over hatred. It's divided over the fact that
it's divided over the fact that you motherfuckers can't tell the truth.
And now we have leaders in our country that decide who's good and who's bad, who's right and who's wrong. That's not what a leader
You
does.
just did that 5 minutes ago.
They bring out the best in people and get them to see the way forward. That's what we need in our country.
But 5 minutes ago, you was telling people who was right and who was wrong.
Someone who's going to be a new generational leader that brings sanity.
You're not a new generational leader. You're not even a new generation. You can't even figure out what the fuck generation your outfit is coming from, ho. Shit, goddamn. Lord have mercy. Ugh. Dismantling the educational system brings us to where we are now, where people can tell you any and everything and make you think that the process is whatever comes out of their mouth. Every 5 minutes, both of them, and we've seen this through all these debates, switch up what they have to say to make it sound good for that question. You hear the audience. And this is why I don't get shocked. I don't get upset when people buy into propaganda and marketing tactics, because all it is gossip. And the reason why people don't pay attention to what was said 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 minutes, an hour before is because they don't want to. They want what's going to make them feel comfortable and what's going to make them feel superior to someone else. This is why people denote everything down to political lines. Because when they're like, well, Democrats don't work. Tell me a fully Republican city or a fully Republican state, or one on the other side, or a fully independent state, a fully Green Party state, a fully Pink Party state, a fully anything. Because they don't want to admit that they're in the same neighborhood, the same city as Democrats, as independent, as anything else. They need these talking points to be driven into people's heads so that they can pull more people over to their side. It's the dumbest shit ever. Just like you'll hear Republicans go, well, under a Republican president, my investments went up and my pay went up. But they're the same people that will be having the same complaints as the rest of us. The price of this went up. But I thought that it was better. If you have more discretionary income, what does the price of anything else have to do with anything? Because you got the money to pay for it, right? Y'all the ones driving these gas guzzlers because you want to stick it to the man. Y'all out here capping for millionaires and billionaires. And I'm talking about all sides. Because those of y'all that sit out there talking about, you can't talk about Taylor Swift. Oh, don't speak on Beyonce. I thought we agreed to eat the rich. I thought we agreed because of evidence that you cannot become a billionaire without some unethical shit that you've done, without treading on people, without undercutting people, without putting people into poverty, without removing people from their homes. Because where's the money going to come from? And see, as they continue to do that, and we continue to gain millionaires and billionaires, who's going to be left that's going to be able to line their pockets? See, that's the long game that nobody's thinking about. And they love to tell you these talking points that sound so good until you actually think about them. We'll lower your taxes. Okay, you lower my taxes, but if you're not properly taxing everybody else that's in the tax brackets above me, what are we really going to be able to accomplish in this country? The deficit is going to continue to climb. Let's get back to it.
So we want to give the voters here some insight into specifics of what you might do as president. Governor Haley, as governor of South Carolina, you chose not to expand Medicaid under Obamacare. 40 states, including this one where we are in Iowa, did expand Medicaid, covering more than 18 million Americans. As president, would you allow those states to keep their expansions in place?
Well, the first thing is we have to look at the fact that how can we be the best country in the world with the most expensive healthcare in the world? And so the way we're going to deal with it is we're going to open it all up. From the hospitals.
So you're not going to expand it. You're not going to let them keep their expansions. You're just going to say pretty words and talk around it.
Because right
what did
now,
I tell
I
y'all?
can tell you, we take care of my parents. They're 87 and 90. My dad is in the hospital right now. When my mom was in the hospital, a nurse came up to her to give her a couple of Tylenol. And she said, I don't need them. And she said, honey, you might as well take them because you're going to pay for them anyway. When we got the bill from the hospital, no one talked to us about that. Right now, you have insurance companies and hospitals.
They're not going to talk to you about it because they know you have the money to talk to cover it. The rest of us, they do talk about it. And no, they don't charge you for things you don't take. That's why people decline them.
And it's going to cost that much money. We're going to go and make it transparent so that we can see everything.
So exactly how did you grow up, Nimarata?
Tort reform around this country. I did that in South Carolina.
Because you don't let your slip.
Those 10 tests because they want to.
You don't let your slip show a couple times now.
And then we're going to go and eliminate certificate of need in this country. I did that in South Carolina as well. That basically says if you have a hospital here, you can't have another hospital for X number of miles. They do the same thing for surgical centers, for nursing homes. We're going to put competition back in healthcare so that healthcare is fighting for the patient. That way services go up and costs go down.
How about you don't do that? How about you nationalize healthcare? How about you put caps on things and say, hey, a Band-Aid in a hospital should cost the same as a Band-Aid as the median cost if I go out to the store and get it? The fuck? We are not about to put people's health care up for auction.
Governor DeSantis, your response on whether you would allow Iowa and the other 39 states who accepted Medicaid expansion to keep it.
You heard that. 39, 40 states.
Here in Iowa, and we need health care that's accessible, that's affordable, and that's accountable. And particularly an emphasis on mental health. In every corner of this state.
Yeah, because you need it, brother.
Campaign, people are really concerned about mental health with the kids in schools, people that are coming out of service to our country, with veterans. We're going to put a big emphasis on mental health. I've actually delivered on some of these things in Florida.
No, you haven't.
We got accountability for the pharmacy.
No, you didn't.
Middlemen that are causing your drug prices to go up. So
you are the middleman that's causing drug prices to go up.
Just beat the federal government.
If you put federal regulations on things instead of removing federal regulations,
which is 25 cents on the dollar, what our prescription drugs cost. I want seniors to be able to do.
If we can have a Secretary of Health and a Secretary of Education, then things should be on a federal level so that everybody is on the same standard. So everybody has a fair chance. The fact that y'all leave it up, not even state to state, but county to county, nobody has a fair shake regarding anything. So you can take the smartest kid from bumfuck Alabama, but they have not been taught on the same level as a kid from upstate fucking New Jersey. How is that fair? How is that giving people an equal leg up? If you're going to have federal cabinet members make the standards federal.
In this country, an estimated 58 million Americans suffer from some type of mental illness. Governor Haley, you say the health crisis is a, quote, cancer that no one has dealt with. What do you think is causing the crisis, and what would you do to fix it?
You bitch ass liars.
It's exacerbated by COVID. I mean, with the school lockdowns. And
no, bitch, it's you motherfuckers lying.
Now with more anxiety, stress, and depression than ever before. 1 in 3 people right now suffer from mental health issues.
Anxiety, stress, and depression came from actually being face to face with people.
We don't have enough mental health.
It's increasing because you motherfuckers keep lying. So you're sending people back out into the workforce and back into school without having precautions put in place, and you're fucking lying, which is perpetuating the violence against people, which is driving anxiety and depression up.
We need to have mental health counselors in schools so they can.
You need to have truth.
That they can get the help that they need. But right now, we've got to get access to care. And that's, again, why I want to move those federal programs down to the state level. Because states really need more mental support.
Stop this. We need to move it to the bitch, who you trying to enslave? Because you got to realize you're going to be one of the first ones they put in goddamn chains.
Get the therapist and get the help that people need so that they can be healthy.
You need a therapist to figure out why you having an identity crisis. And if you motherfuckers in that goddamn audience clap one more motherfucking time.
Policy supported by Ronald Reagan was a mistake. As president, would you restore federal funding to those mental health institutions?
Yes, we need more people in institutionalized settings, unfortunately. But Governor Haley mentioned, I think correctly,
we need you in an institutionalized setting, bitch.
Consequences for these school closures, a lot of things that happened during COVID. I never recalled seeing her out there fighting the fight. I was on the front lines on that.
Yeah, after you got vaccinated and double boosted, bitch. We remember. We see you. You started off being pro-vaccination, and then when Trump was like, no, we're not going to do that, you was like, okay, daddy. Okay.
In the entire pandemic, because
remember?
You remember?
Because we remember.
In Iowa. And I think we have a significant problem with veterans.
Yeah, we knew that was coming, and we knew Trump was coming down his throat. Oh, too soon?
It's really, really sad. As a fellow veteran,
I'm sorry.
Turning a blind eye to what's happening to our
Hold on. I'm sorry. I mean, no disrespect whatsoever, but choosing to put your life on the line for a country that does not give a fuck about you and is putting you on the front lines to line the pockets of the big wigs that you know exist is not a reason for me to vote for you or believe you or put credence into you. So I'm really tired, and I hope the rest of y'all get tired. A motherfucker saying, I'm a veteran, give me special treatment, while they're saying those of us that actually suffer every fucking day don't deserve to be heard, don't deserve to be respected, and don't deserve even just basic human decency. Can we stop with allowing political candidates to say, but I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran, because we know this country doesn't give a fuck about veterans, and veterans doesn't make you any better or any worse than anybody else, because there are people who actually make bigger sacrifices than the fucking veterans that we have today. Let's be real and call a fucking spade a spade. There are mothers and fathers right now that are making bigger sacrifices than motherfuckers that are in the military right now. We got motherfuckers on TikTok. I'm stationed in Florida. I'm stationed in Alaska, and I get to have all of this. Yes, yes. Yeah, I got life credit. Oh, don't pay attention that I don't pay any rent. The fuck? The fuck? We're not living through the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, the Mexican-American War. We're not living through that. They're not fighting for our rights. They're fighting for the fucking wealthy. Stop allowing candidates to just be like, I'm a veteran, and everybody just, me. For what? For what? Because that homeless veteran that you see on the corner of your street every goddamn day, you drive past them and don't give a fuck. And then veterans get pissed off when people invoke stolen valor. But what the fuck else are they going to do when they have no other options? When they don't have a place to sleep, they can't eat, they can't get medical attention. What the fuck else are they going to do? Oh, they could, I'm a veteran. Oh, you are? Let me take care of you. But we're not going to reform the VA. We're not going to make sure that they get proper care. We're not going to make sure they get proper benefits. When we put them in harm's way and we go into marginalized communities and strong arm those children into signing up and making promises to them that they'll be able to be something great, and it's a fucking lie. When the military stops giving Black women a standard bob wig as a part of their fucking uniform, I'll believe you.
Scientists agree requires cutting carbon emissions.
I mean, first of all, regardless of what party, everybody wants to have clean
Ron
air,
DeSantis
clean
was a
water.
history
They
teacher.
want a world that they can pass on to their kids that's going to be healthy and all of that. But it's how do we do that? I think the first thing we have to understand is you don't deal in extremes. When I was at the United Nations, the reason I took us out of the Paris Climate Agreement was
because you're a dumb bitch that
Obama
didn't
had
finish
put all
your
these
term.
mandates down on our businesses, but they didn't do anything to hold China and India to account. Those are the two countries we have.
Oh, so what do you have to say about Israel not being held to account right now? What do you have to say about the United States not being held to account right now? Ask those questions.
Putting anything towards innovation on what we can do on nuclear fusion and other things that reduce emissions, which there are things out there, to go and have everybody have to drive an electric car by 2035. That's not even smart.
Really? Y'all said that when we were moving away from coal. Y'all said the same shit when we were moving away from coal. Because y'all didn't give a fuck about the coal miners. Y'all didn't give a fuck about the children that were affected by the emissions from coal. But we were just fine moving on to gasoline. It's called evolution. And weren't y'all just an hour ago talking about trades and technology and putting people into technological trade schools?
So Biden gave this massive windfall to our number one national security threat.
I didn't say he taught real history. I said he was a history teacher. He even put out a history book. I didn't say anything about it being real.
The majority of Americans
Didn't say that at all.
The US as either extremely or very serious. Recent data show crime rates falling, but some violent crime rates do remain high. Governor Haley, former President Trump, suggested that he might try to stop violent crime by deploying U.S. troops.
He is the violent crime.
In cities, something he could potentially do under the Insurrection Act. Is that something that you would do as president?
What I would do is, first of all, defund sanctuary cities. It's hugely important that we do that. That's where we're seeing a lot of
But
crime.
your parents needed a sanctuary
our
city.
Law enforcement is demoralized right now.
That's gonna
Because
make
if they go in and
out.
arrest
Do you
someone
even
for having
celebrate
stolen
Christmas with
guns,
your parents?
it's
Because
demoralizing
you
when they
became
go through all
Christian
that effort,
and
put
acted
their
like
lives
you
at
weren't
risk,
raised
and
under a
then you
different
turn around and
religion.
let that
Your
criminal
parents
go the
didn't
very
convert
next
from
day.
everything that I could
Prosecutors need
find.
to prosecute according to the law. And we've got to start
Oh,
holding
that
them
must be
accountable.
tough.
When we bring law and order back to our cities, then that's
Y'all
when
do
they'll
know
be
Law and
safe.
Order
You don't
is
do
an
it by defunding
ultimate
the police, and you
dog
don't
whistle,
do it by
right?
just praising the police. You do it by having their backs, making sure we passed the first body camera bill in the country in South Carolina to make sure that law enforcement felt like they could do their
Body
job
cammers wasn't
without
to have the
feeling
police's backs, you
without
dumb
feeling
bitch.
threatened about them
It
doing their
wasn't
job.
for
We
them,
have to
you
have
dumb
prosecutors
bitch.
prosecuting. We have to defund sanctuary cities. We have
Arena
to get
is
these
in here. She's
stolen
above your
guns and
comment.
drugs off the street. And the only way we can do that is when we empower law enforcement.
Governor
No, I just
DeSantis.
think, I mean, that
And the
quote
other
from
one is
President
only in here
former
when they
Trump
need
is a little
something.
bit rich because he was president during the worst rioting in the modern history of this country, the BLM riots in the summer of 2020. When I saw that,
That
happen
was
in
the worst
Minneapolis and
riots?
Florida, I called
We're
up
not
the
going to
National
talk about the
Guard.
Red
We
Summer.
had state law enforcement deployed. We said, "You're not burning down our cities."
We're not going to talk about the Red
It didn't
Summer.
happen.
We're not going to talk
sat in
about
the White House and
1920 to
tweeted law and
1922.
order, but
I mean,
he
we
did
could go back
nothing
further
to
than
ensure
that
law and
because
order.
we could
As
talk
your
about
president, I would
when
never let our
Irish
cities burn.
immigrants
You have every right
that had
to
been here for a
stop this
generation or
runaway
two
riot,
that
and as
officially
president, that's
became
what I did.
Irish American,
Now,
and
Nikki
when they were
Haley and I
taking
have
their
disagreement
disdain
on
about the
BLM stuff too,
drafts,
because
multiple
she
drafts,
tweeted
out on
during this
black
period
folks,
of
but
time
black folks
that
weren't the
the
ones in
death of
power
George
implementing it
Floyd
and
should
allowing
become
rich white people
personal
to buy
and
their way out of the
painful for
drafts.
each and every American. But people in
But
Iowa
go
had
off.
nothing to do with that, or Florida or South Carolina. She was virtue signaling to the left. She was accepting the narrative, and she was trying to impress people.
Do you
who
know
were
what
never gonna
virtue
like it. I never
signaling?
bought
Oh, no,
into
you
going
don't.
after the police. We back the blue to the
Thank you,
hilt in the
Governor
state of Florida,
DeSantis.
and we're
And that's why black people keep dying
Governor Haley.
in mass shootings in Florida.
It's interesting that he did that. He put a tweet that was very similar. But let me tell
That's
you
not
why
true.
I did that. First of all, we had one of the worst two racial shootings. We had the shooting of Walter Scott, who was shot 7 times in the back by a dirty cop. We had a horrific shooting at a church where a white supremacist came in and killed 9 amazing souls.
And while on the campaign trail, how many shootings has Ron DeSantis
We never
had?
had to deal with riots. We never had to call in the National Guard line.
How
Because
many
when we had
times
those
have the
events,
Nazis shown
we were
up
able to
in
keep
Florida
people
while
together. We didn't have
DeSantis
riots, we had
has been
vigils.
off
We
of
didn't
his
have
duty
protests,
as
we had
governor
prayer. We brought people together.
because he was
And I
supposed to
said that about
relinquish his
George
post
Floyd.
so somebody
We
else
turned
could
around and
take
had
care of the
worst
day to day, but
shooting in a
he passed
religious
legislation
place
where
that
he
we
couldn't
had
do
seen
that.
in this country. Not only did I pass the first body camera bill in the country and keep our state together, not only did I move to bring the Confederate flag down, we came
So you
together as a
understand
state
racism,
in
but you
prayer,
don't
and
want
we
to
had no
admit that you
division,
understand
no riots, no
racism.
anything. We didn't need the National
Thank
Guard
you, Governor.
because a leader knows how to bring out the best in
So,
people.
thank you, Governor. So,
Why you playing in
you
a
have been sparring on the
fade?
campaign trail for months. We've seen some vicious attack ads going back and forth, and tonight we have had a very lively debate. On a different note, Governor DeSantis,
The
let me
fuck
ask
is
you,
that smell
what do you
from?
admire?
What
about
in the
Governor Haley?
Pennywise?
Oh, look, I mean, I think that with the United Nations, I did think that she spoke out strongly on some key issues, and I appreciated that. I also appreciate
Nah,
the
you
state of
you
South
you
Carolina.
condemn the United
My
Nations.
wife
You said
is a
you
College of
can
Charleston
you can
graduate.
take the girl out
Her
of the
parents
United
lived
Nations,
there
but you can't
for
take the
many,
United
many
Nations
years,
out of the
and so it is a
girl. That's
wonderful
fucked
state.
up.
There's a lot of great people there. And I think to be able to have been governor there is a great achievement. And I really appreciate everyone I've gotten to meet in South Carolina.
Governor Haley, what do you admire about Governor
You's
DeSantis?
a
I think
bitch.
he's been a good governor.
Oh, you think it? You's a bitch.
So,
You can
we're
say
gonna
my.
squeeze in another quick break, and we'll be right back with more from the Republican debates here at Drake University.
The fuck. The fuck. The fuckity fuck. The fuck. Hold on. Wait a minute. Ah, shit. It's 8 minutes left. Okay, this is the furthest we've gone because they on some bullshit. Let's just go ahead and call it a night. Obviously, I'm gonna have a lot to say tomorrow. I'm gonna try not to unleash it on the interwebs tonight. But as always, thank you for joining me tonight over here, darlings. But they get more after all these commercials. They at the 7-minute mark. We did that. Ain't what we about to do. And like I said, pinned to the top of my page, as always on TikTok, is the first part of the history of the Gaza Strip. So you can see what I was talking about if you were here from the beginning or even midway. To see that they're relying. Also on this page, there are a plethora of series regarding the history and breakdown of everything. And these, now y'all see why I chose the picture that I chose. But as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. I will see y'all tomorrow. Adios, amigos. Be heathens and prosper.